The Honourable Leader of the New Democratic Party.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is for the Premier. In 2014, this Liberal government tabled a budget which limited the increase in departmental expenses to 1%. The former Premier at that time told the people at that to expect this was going to result in, and I'll table this, I quote, the disappearance of some programs and services and the complete revamping of others, unquote. Mr. Speaker, that was the expected result of a budget with a 1% decrease. This budget before us is proposing that there be a decrease of 2%, 200 million in departmental spending next year. Why will this Premier not be as clear as his predecessor about what people can expect the impacts of that 2% decrease to be?
The Honourable Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm very proud of this budget that's being brought forward that has increases to healthcare so we can modernize our system, continue to attract world-class health providers from across the globe, Mr. Speaker. It has increases in education, delivering on more inclusion within our classrooms, Mr. Speaker. It has the highest increase to income assistance in our history with $100 every single participant in the program will get. We're going to continue to invest in communities, Mr. Speaker, and we're going to continue to invest within our means so that future generations can afford programs too. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Leader of the New Democratic Party.
Mr. Speaker, the following year, in 2015, this Liberal government, in keeping with the projections that had been made the year before, it brought forward a budget that held increases to a little bit less than 1%. The result of that budget was an immediate loss of 320 public sector jobs, a 3-year wage freeze, and the end of the film tax credit. Will the Premier admit that with a 2% decrease in spending, as he proposes by taking $200 million out of the budget next year, people should brace for severe cuts to the programs they rely on?
The Honourable Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And the member opposite knows that we've spent over $600 million dealing with the pandemic, and that continues, Mr. Speaker. We have significant investments in this budget for PPE and preparing our nurses and other providers on our front line to ensure that we continue to deal with the pandemic. We expect to make sure that we get through this with vaccines rolling out, first doses by every Nova Scotian in the month of June. We're going to continue to make key investments in areas. We don't just want to throw money at more issues, Mr. Speaker. We're looking at a holistic way on government, ensuring that we have core services in healthcare and education and growing back a strong economy as we were before the pandemic. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Leader of the New Democratic Party.
Mr. Speaker, what I know is that the 4-year fiscal projections that were in those 2014-15 budgets were nowhere near as drastic or dramatic as the $200 million for next year that this budget is proposing to decrease departmental expenses. And yet, in those years, from 2014 to 2018, we saw nurses go on a wildcat strike. We saw teachers have their first strike in all of Nova Scotia's history. In fact, the government to this day is engaged in court cases that come out of those instances. Mr. Speaker, will the Premier admit that his $200 million in cuts next year are going to come not only at the expense of the services that people rely on, but also at the expense of the frontline workers who deliver those services?
The Honourable Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And we're going to continue to make sure that we're managing the fiscal purse prudently, Mr. Speaker. We continue to increase healthcare and education and community services year over year. Unlike the NDP government, who cut education, Mr. Speaker, cut assistance to universities while signing collective agreements that are unaffordable. There's $700 million embedded in the cost of government today because of those collective agreements. We made sure that we looked at wage settlements that we could actually afford so that we can continue to bring more progressive programs, the type of programs that government could not bring in, like pre-primary, increasing investments to healthcare, historic amounts in our infrastructure because we inherited the infrastructure deficit as well. So we're going to continue to make sure that we're making spending in those key priority areas where Nova Scotians want us to. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.